Hi, welcome to Miss Emily's Kitchen. I'm Miss Emily. Welcome back to episode 3. Today we're going to be making garlic naan, which is a kind of flatbread that can be used for a lot of different things. You can rip it up and use it to dip in different dips. You can use it as the base for a personal pizza, or my favorite way is just to eat it as is because it's like a chewy, yummy garlic bread. It's going to be one of our cheapest episodes because everything here is going to be under $10 to make. So let's take a look at our ingredients. And here's all the ingredients that you're going to need to make our naan. You're going to need a cup of warm water, 3½ cups of all-purpose flour, some Pam cooking spray, 1 stick of butter melted, a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of sugar, about 3 garlic cloves, or I like to use just the crushed garlic paste and only about a teaspoon of that, and then ½ cup of plain yogurt, or you can use sour cream, and then 1 packet of instant rapid rise yeast. You can use regular yeast, but it does take a lot longer to make, so I like going with the faster one. And now let's take a look at all of our utensils that you'll need to make it. And here's all the tools you'll need. A mixer, a rolling pin, a pair of tongs, a fork or a whisk, a wire rack, a pastry brush, and a parchment-lined baking sheet. Now let's start mixing together our dough for our naan. So the first thing you're going to want to do is bloom your yeast. That just means let it all activate because it's in a dried state right now, so it's dormant. So we're going to take our cup of warm water, add our teaspoon of sugar, teaspoon of salt. It's going to be food for the yeast that kind of helps it bubble up. And we'll add our packet of rapid rise yeast. Mix these all together until they get kind of frothy. All right. So while that is kind of working its magic, we'll put it off to the side for just a moment. And we'll take a look at our garlic topping. This is going to be delicious when it's spread on the end. So we've got our stick of melted butter that we'll add about a teaspoon or so of garlic to. And we're doing this early so that way it has time to sit and the butter can get nice and flavored. I wish you guys could be in this kitchen because it smells so good right now. All right, so now that that's done, that'll be set off to the side until we're all done with everything. It gets brushed on at the very end. So then next we're going to take a look at our dough. You can do this by hand if you want. I like using a mixer because it goes a little faster and it saves your countertop and your hands from getting to be sticky. So into our mixer goes 3½ cups of flour, all-purpose flour. You don't need to worry about bread flour or anything fancy. Our ½ cup of plain yogurt. All right, and we'll start this out on just a low speed. Just so that's starting to get combined, and then we'll start adding slowly in all of our water, yeast, sugar, and salt mixture. All right, so now you can see it's kind of coming together, so you can turn up your speed just a little bit because you want it to form a big ball, basically. I've got mine set on like a 6 right now, and you also want to make sure your mixer is locked into place so it's not moving around. All right, so now you can see our dough's kind of pulling away from the sides a little bit. So at this point, you can either take it out and knead it by hand for about 5 minutes, or you can just let it keep sitting in the mixer for maybe like 5 minutes on maybe a 6 or an 8 on your mixer, so like a medium, medium-high. So we're just gonna let it go in the mixer for a couple minutes and see what we're working with. What you really want is kind of a soft, stretchy dough at the end of it. Right now it's just coming together, but you can see it's still a little dry and brittle around the edges. So we're gonna crank this baby back up to about a 6. Now let's take a look at what our dough looks like after it's been spinning for about 5 minutes. I think we're just about perfect because you can see it's nice and soft and stretchy. This is why I'm really glad I did this in a mixer and not with my hands, because look how sticky that is. So you're just kind of going to pull it off your hook. There we go, nice and stretchy. Pop that out of the base. Now you can see it's sticking to the sides of the bowl. So I'm just going to lightly pull it away because this needs to rest for about an hour. Yeah, look at that. All right, perfect. Just kind of so it's not stuck to all the sides. You're going to spritz it lightly with some Pam, or you can use any kind of cooking oil you want, just so it's not going to stick when I put my tea towel on top. Now we'll put a little towel on it. You can also use cling wrap or anything else you want just to kind of keep out any dust while this rests for about an hour. At room temp, if you keep your house kind of warm, room temp's good. If you're a little on the chillier side, you might want to put it somewhere a little warmer just to sit for about an hour so it can proof. So we'll check back in on this in an hour. So our naan has been proofing for about an hour. Let's take a look and see how we're doing. You can see it's definitely almost doubled in size from when we left it. And it's kind of soft to the touch. You can kind of feel it. So we're going to take it and pull it back away from the side of the bowl. And all that oil that we sprayed on is helping it from not sticking, which is great. So it's all nice and soft. So what we're going to do now is pinch out, maybe a ball about that big or so. And sprinkle a little flour down. I've just got some parchment paper down. You can do this on your countertop or a big cutting board if you like. It's totally up to you. So we'll just kind of cover that in some flour so it's not going to stick. Take our rolling pin and just kind of roll it out. It doesn't matter what shape these are in, which is the great part. Really, you just kind of want to stretch it so it's even all the way around, even thickness. I stretched out about that big or so. I don't like mine too huge. And we'll put it on our parchment lined baking sheet. And we'll just make another one to go in there with it. So again, sprinkle some extra flour. Get it not to stick to your hands. See, you don't even need a rolling pin. You can kind of just stretch it out with your hands. If you're not really feeling it or you don't have a rolling pin in your kitchen, doesn't matter. And they're so freeform. If you were making these to do pizza with, you might want to make them a little more round. But just stretch it out however you feel like. That looks good. All right, and lay that on our baking sheet. The best part about these is they only take 5 minutes in the oven, which is great if you're on a time crunch. So now we're gonna pop these in. We have our broiler going on high. So you're gonna wanna take it. Make sure your oven rack is kind of up close to the top. And we'll pop these in. And if you're ever putting something in under the broiler, do not walk away from it because it can burn so quickly. So we're gonna let these go about 3 minutes and then we'll check back in on them and see how we're doing. So the naan's been in the oven for about 3 minutes now on high under the broiler. We're gonna check on it quick and flip it over. So you can see they're kind of getting brown around the edges and they've definitely puffed up. So we're just gonna give them a little flip and put them back in, and this side will only go for about 2 minutes, maybe 2 minutes and 30 seconds. You want a light golden brown on the top, but not burnt. So we'll check back on that in just a bit. Okay, we should be about ready to pull our naan out. Let's take a look. Oh, that's perfect. We got just a little bit of golden brown on it. So we'll bring it over. Make sure to have your cooling rack ready. So we're just gonna move these guys directly over. A little hot, and pick whatever side is the prettiest, up to you. I know these have a little flour on them. You can see they got a little puffy to them. And you can feel there's not doughiness in the middle. It's kind of hard on the outside. So now that these are both out and cooling, you want them still a little bit hot for this process. We're gonna take our melted butter with the garlic and a little pastry brush and just brush them down so they're nice and glossy. This is the best part, and it is not the same without it. At this point, if you want to sprinkle on a little fresh parsley to make it look fancy, or some sesame seeds, up to you. You can kind of top these however you want. If you're going to use these as the base for a pizza crust though, I wouldn't brush them with the garlic because they get a little soggy. Best part about this recipe is it costs under $5 to make. You really just need the basics in your kitchen for it, and you probably already have them. There we go, they're all brushed down. You can choose to eat them now. It might be a little bit greasy, up to you, or you can let them kind of sit. But I'm gonna rip off a little piece and try it. Ooh, they are hot though. You can see when you kind of rip into it, they're stretchy. That is delicious. If you love garlic, you're gonna like these. So good and pillowy. I'd say these turned out perfect. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Miss Emily's Kitchen. We'll see you next time. If you're following us on Facebook, make sure to share the video and hit that like button. Share it with all your friends. And if you're watching us on YouTube, make sure to hit subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can see when we upload new videos, and make sure to give us a thumbs up. Have a good rest of your night, guys.